What's your information diet like? Most of us are quite careful about what we eat. We think about calories, sugar, processed food, long-term health. But when it comes to what we feed our minds every day, like social media, news, emails, podcasts, notifications, short videos, we don't question it at all. And yet, just like your body has a diet, your brain has an information diet. And for many people, it's not a healthy one. I'm Charlie Stewart-Brown, voice of the British Airways Yoga and Mindfulness onboard program and founder of Indiv Yoga. I've been practicing meditation for over 30 years and since 2009 have trained hundreds of yoga and meditation teachers around the world. I've spent over 17 years working with anxious and burnt out adults, including diplomats, Marine soldiers, and high-level executives, and hundreds of children suffering with anxiety, ADHD, and autism. And I'm going to explain to you what an information diet is, where the pitfalls are, and how you can make yours much healthier. Now, you might be thinking, why is a yoga and meditation trainer talking about this? Well, I became fascinated with this topic during my psychology degree in the 90s. And over the years with my work, I've seen how stressed and overwhelmed people are becoming. I also remember a time before all of this. I'm of that rare generation that grew up without internet or smartphones and has gone through this transition to where we are now. Our only source of information was books, TV that we couldn't pause, and other people. We had to deal with our boredom or wait patiently without technology. In fact, I remember standing in queues for nearly 5 hours in 1999 at the port in Haifa, northern Israel, with only my boyfriend and a book for distraction. Now, we have instant information at the tips of our fingers and stimulation to distract us all the time. And the problem is that our brains and bodies haven't caught up. So what is an information diet? It's simply the quantity and quality of what you consume mentally each day. Just like food, your information diet has the components of quantity, so how much you consume, quality, what you consume, frequency, how often you consume, and recovery, the time you allow to digest and process the information. And that last one, recovery, is where most people are failing. We're consuming constantly, never taking a break or digesting. The human brain evolved in a world where information was slow, scarce, and meaningful. Now it's instant, endless, and engineered to keep your attention. Social media, YouTube, Netflix are designed to trigger your brain's dopamine system by feeding you content rewarding novelty, unpredictability, and constant stimulation. And research shows that this has a cost. Frequent interruptions increase stress, reduce focus, and make it harder to think clearly and concentrate. So just like food that can be nourishing, junk, or even toxic, the information our brain takes in is exactly the same. A junk information diet looks like clickbait, outrage-driven news, endless short-form content, pornography, spam, and algorithm-driven feeds. This kind of input overstimulates the brain, fragments attention, and creates compulsive habits. And over time, your brain adapts. But here's where it gets really interesting. This doesn't just affect focus, it affects how we connect. Research shows that heavy social media use is linked to more comparison, more dissatisfaction, more jealousy, and at the same time, frequent exposure to online sexual content can distort expectations of intimacy and reduce satisfaction in real relationships. So for the first time in history, many people are learning how to relate, connect, and desire not from real experience or contact with real people, but from algorithms. And despite being more connected than ever, we're seeing more loneliness, less depth, and less genuine intimacy. There are also very real day-to-day effects. Constant input keeps your brain slightly switched on all the time, making it harder to relax. Switching between content reduces your ability to focus. High stimulation reduces motivation for normal life, and screen exposure, especially at night, disrupts sleep. So you end up overstimulated, undersatisfied, and mentally tired. So what does a healthier information diet look like? Not removing technology, but using it consciously. Now, here are a few simple and practical ideas. Reduce empty calories. Avoid reactive news, especially first thing in the morning or late at night. It doesn't start your day well or help you sleep, and this includes any information that you risk making you feel sad, jealous, angry, or anxious. You can also reduce empty calories by picking 4 of your diet ingredients, for instance, Instagram, emails, ChatGPT, and YouTube, and reducing your consumption of them. There's no need to make drastic, unsustainable changes. Just pick 4 of your information channels and work on reducing those ones for now. Number 2 is increase nutritious input by choosing books, long-form content, and knowledge-enhancing learning sometimes. Number 3 is introduce information fasting as part of your diet. Try things like no phone mornings, tech-free evenings, phone-free rooms in the house, tech-free meals, or conversations with friends or going for a walk without any gadgets. And lastly, number 4 is allowing time for digestion. So lowering your expectation of having to do everything on the same day, or of finding out the answer straight away, or creating gaps between activities instead of filling every moment with content. Or you could practice stillness or reflection, like meditation or walking, to remember, fully absorb, or integrate what you've consumed. No one can tell you how much or what type of information you should be consuming. It's very individual and requires some self-reflection from each of us. What I can do is give you some pointers. So the very first thing you need to do is accept that your information diet is not a good one, and decide that you want to make some changes towards a healthier one. In the same way you'd begin tweaking your food diet if you became overweight or found out you were on the path to diabetes or cancer. Then I suggest asking yourself the following questions and bringing them up in conversation with people whose views you respect. So, for instance, what percentage of what I consume actually improves my life? Do I feel calmer and happier afterwards, or more anxious, sad, stressed, scared, or envious afterwards? When was the last time I sat or walked in silence without input? Am I choosing what I consume, or is it being fed to me? What do I enjoy doing that doesn't involve consuming toxic information? And lastly, what small steps can I take to consume less junk or replace some of it with more nutritious information? Lastly, I'd like to talk briefly about the number 1 information diet challenge that we face today, which is boredom. Take a moment to reflect on your own relationship with being bored and your personal information diet. Boredom is truly society's biggest challenge, especially with the younger generation. Being okay with being bored, managing it, and redefining our relationship to it. So I'm going to leave you with 4 complementary and interchangeable solutions. Firstly, learning to connect with ourselves. So feeling okay about just being with our own thoughts, emotions, sensations, and senses. Second is learning to connect with others without the use of technology. Third is learning to connect with nature and our environment, so looking up and out into the world. And fourth is learning to connect with something greater than yourself. So not necessarily religious, but it could be prayer, meditation, God, universal energy, community, or charity, for instance. So to finish off, just like we have a diet for our bodies, we have a diet for our minds. And our minds are shaped by what we consume, our information diet. And most people are overfed, undernourished, and mentally overstimulated. So we need to work towards a healthier information diet because we're suffering the consequences of the junk and toxic content we're feeding our minds. So if you wouldn't eat junk food all day, why feed your brain the equivalent? A calmer, clearer mind doesn't come from adding more, but from consuming less and choosing better. Leave me a comment if you have any other suggestions for a healthier information diet. Subscribe to my channel and check out my site, Indiv Yoga, for more information. Feel free to check out my social media channels very quickly. Don't be there for long. The Indiv Yoga pages on Facebook, Instagram, my Indiv Yoga YouTube channel that you're on, Charlie Stewart-Brown on LinkedIn, and all the other information is on indivyoga.com. Good luck and namaste.